Okay. Peace and love to all. We open our meeting in the name of the divine creator. Allah. Allah. We're going to get ready to get the screen shared. We're going to open up with a divine Sufian. 5:14. Place all people. Now, is that a divine responsibility?
Oh, yes, it is.
We must start this thing off right. All people. If we know what the word steward is, that's trustee.
That's right.
We talking trustee and grantor. Grantor. All law place all people as stewards of the earth. Uh-oh. The divine says all people.
All. That's right.
Not just a Republican.
That's right.
Not just a Democratic. Not just government, period, or parliament.
So that means Mason too, huh?
That means Mason too. Right. Right. This ain't got nothing to do with religious right here.
That's right.
No religion except Allah's religion
Right on.
is the only religion. And Allah tells us that we are stewards of the earth. Not churches, not mosques, not corporations, nor any entity. From this lesson, do one person hold single authority?
No, sir.
That's a beautiful answer. The Creator is pleased.
We all have our duties.
That's it. That's it. So with voting time coming up, it's the main topic of discussion that all people now, and not just the president, or his cabinet, or the Congress, this ain't singling out any authority, giving all people authority. How many of us have heard of that divine law? And we're going to begin our lesson first, but we got a deep discovery that we got to put on the manifest and record on the record. We're going to start first with some instructions from our
fame and fortune. Which is nearer, name or self? Which is dearer, self or wealth? Which gives more pain, loss or gain? All you grass will be thrown away. All you hoard will be utterly lost. Contentment keeps disgrace away. Restraint keeps you out of danger, so you can go on for a long, long time. That's what I'm sometimes the material always messing up. It's always something wrong with the material. And then I don't need to hold on. I don't need to attach myself to it at all. I'm going to be upset or disappointed. So I'm like, listening to me. But yeah, that's
Beautiful. Man, that's a beautiful opening.
It sure is. Fame and fortune.
Right.
The people of this line have the wrong concept because when they got Hollywood Walk of Fame in California, where that place at? That's something that person undone for glorification and whatever he was working with, push that in. But see, that ain't it. It's here. Name or self. Woo. Which is near. Woo. The name is on the outside.
Ooh. Come on with it.
Self is the inside.
Ooh, come on with it.
In and out.
And what they said, how you keep the outside of the cup clean, at the inside of the cup.
And this what not happened to this society because they were focused on looking in the mirror, seeing themselves, and then when they see themselves in the mirror, they see the outer. And now, look what now happened to the outer self. See, we don't supposed to be walking around with obesity. That's a fact, y'all. Let's be real. Once upon a time, we weren't that way. But now, we don't become that and more. See, this is what he was talking about. Restrain yourself, keep you out of danger. When you restrain yourself, you won't be eating on 3 meals a day and all you can eat. That ain't restraining. See, and if we got to restrain ourselves, not only eating our sinful ways. This what brings home danger. So we got to be careful.
So look at it from the point of which gives more pain, loss or gain. Well, yeah, you can lose your house, you can lose your car.
Ooh, come on with it.
You can lose your uncle. You can lose any particular thing, but you cannot lose self. You have to carry that. But you also can gain from particular mountains. Knowledge is the first key to gain. You're speaking on law. It took me back to the outcome.
Oh, yeah. It
took me back to the fact of the first law is divine law, not man's law. So we worry about law of Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the Republican versus Democratic. But we're not realizing the self.
That's right.
Laws for self. And that's divine versus natural. So yeah. As you bring the name versus self. Individuals worry about the names of these individuals.
that's a
self. Voting for something that's outside of self.
That's right.
Yeah, with heavy outside of self.
And seeing this is why we have achieved our goal because we constantly going to the voting polls or the voting booths, voting for something else. And then the one you vote for, look how he mistreats you. And why we ain't risen up from the top, at least be equal But the more we vote, the deeper the hole becomes. So it's a game that they playing on us. So we got to wake up and realize what self can do. That's why we got a brain, gave us a brain. You know what you're supposed to do with it? You put a head on your body, on the tip top. It ain't up there just to hang a hat right. It's not a hat right. For dropping your head. So you can move now, baby. It ain't just made to hang a hat, but it's special. It has a reason behind it and a purpose. And it's time for us to use it in a rightful manner.
See, and that's what we got to come to. How to use, and first, how to learn how to use, we got to know where. Did it come from? Because if you think your brain, your body come from man, then that's a wrong identification.
Yeah.
And now self gonna have problems.
Yeah.
Because now the main situation comes in, which gives more pain. Let's take an occasion. Self is in pain.
Yeah.
Let's say the time we in, 21st century, self can be in financial pain. So let's bring a financial situation. Self can get a job. But let's say self gets a job.
Yeah.
Now, that's called gaining. Self just gained a job.
Yeah.
But in the access of gaining, now self is losing something equally. Because as the job is now gained, for self to gain the job, it had to lose something in order to gain something.
Yeah.
And so now let's say you get the job and you're there, now you complaining about the job.
See that?
So finances was never the issue. Because now you got a job, which means you got finances now, but now you complaining about the job. Because now something missing.
Yeah.
And now this was give room for pain to occur on each level, as the sister was saying with materialism. When we reading the way does nothing. This is why it doesn't gain or it doesn't lose. So once we understand this higher philosophy, we need to understand the origins of it. We'll read a couple more, then we're going to go into a little divine history.
45. Real power. What's perfectly whole seems flawed. But you can use it forever. What's perfectly full seems empty. But you can't use it up. True straightness looks crooked. Great skill looks clumsy. Real eloquence seems to stammer. To be comfortable in the cold, keep moving. To be comfortable in the heat, hold still. To be comfortable in the dunya, stay calm and clear.
That was the end of that divine lesson. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Talking about real power here.
Real power. Who knows what real power is? To understand this is to understand you know what real power is.
That's right. That's correct.
See, the Sufian brings us real power. Not just flowery poetry, not supported by divine wisdom. We have something for all of us that we have not been told. Man, this thing is so old that they wanted us to forget. But the mind never forgets. Self-made. Let's get it real clear and distinguish.
Yeah.
That's why self can get in pain, because self can forget.
Yeah.
But can the mind forget? See, we're talking about the power of the mind. This is the balance of the spirit and the flesh. That is a gift given by a higher authority. If you are a steward of the earth, that means you have capacity. That means you have competence. And you have authority. Didn't they say Jesus spoke with authority?
Yes, he did.
Any lovers of knowledge familiar? So when we're talking about what did he say he was? The way. Let's sync it together. We ain't never left the way.
I am the truth.
In literature, we always in the way. Now, we've been told that the Creator doesn't have a way. Would y'all agree or disagree? We've been told that the Creator don't have a way.
Yes, he does. How do you think he got him? If that ain't the way.
That you could just do anything. This is what it's telling us. If our Creator don't have a way, that means we could do anything. Now, do you see the sun just do anything?
No. Obedience.
So it looked like the Creator has a way. And to make it even more clearer, it's only one way we come in. Y'all know any others? Nah, this is the, no, but we're going to save that for when we do the history part. We got one more divine instruction for this.
The world's on the way, they use horses to haul men. When the world gets off the way, they breed more horses on the continent. The greatest evil, wanting more. The world's love, this continent breeds the curse of life. To know enough is enough to know.
See? How beautiful that is.
Oh, yes.
Look how that verse where it said, when the world get off the way, they breed war horses on the come. And look what we have today, this present time and moment. The war horses and the leaders of the world has gotten off the way. And look at the common people, what they gotta go through. Innocent children, innocent women. They don't even have respect and feeling for the innocent. Who could kill the women who give birth to the children? Who can kill them? Only an evil monster. And they pretty much in every country you can think of, they have gotten off the way. So it's time for us to stop these evildoers from leading us the wrong way. That's why we gotta find shelter, so we can put a stop to it. When you learn and realize your purpose in life and in creation, you won't go along with that. You won't be part of that. And that's what we gotta be careful. He said the greatest evil wanting more. And everybody what? Want. You can't satisfy them. When they got plenty of money, oh man, they'll show you what all they want. They'll go get cars and homes and more money in their account. They want to extend their contract to get more money. So that might be telling you something about that person that can never be satisfied. See? High self, low self. See? We got to be in control of that. The high and the low.
And since we are located in North America, let's take a look at our society. Is our society based in wanting more?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it based in wanting less?
Want more. Want more. It's want, more.
Greed.
It's greedy.
So it sounds like North America and its society is not following the way.
They're not. They had everybody wanting to come over here because of the wants. As though they can't get it where they at. See? And now they ain't thinking straight.
And then the next one, we need to know enough is enough to know.
Yeah.
It's a saying, a wise saying that said, to many books there's no end. And since we had been exposed to the printing press, many millions of book has been printed. And this millions of books being printed have affected the state of our minds. Because now people don't know what to believe. And it's a sad condition, but it's a condition that must be. So one can learn how to know. Okay, so Dre Elder, have you read one?
Not yet.
Okay.
47. Looking for. You don't have to go out the door to know what goes on in the world. You don't have to look out the window to see the way of heaven. The farther you go, the less you know. I don't have to be up there on Capitol Hill to know that there's crooks running the show. I don't have to be at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to know what's going on. And I always knew that they were crooks because anytime anybody would take another human being and make them a slave, red flags should go up in your mind. Okay. And you drop your guard if you want. And everybody smile in your face. Anybody can put on a smile. Or say, I'm going to do this for you and do that. Remember what the lesson said earlier? Self. If you do it yourself, you don't have to worry about nobody doing it for you. It takes self to get everything right, not someone else. So we have to be extremely careful. Say you don't have to look out the window to see the way of heaven. The farther you go, the less you know. How many people have been all over the world and they still don't know who they are? Been traveling all over the world, all over the place. And you ask them a question, say, hey, well, tell me a little about yourself. Start scratching his head. Well, I'm a Black American. They call me a Negro. They call me a Black American. They call me colored. They call me many things. But I guess I'll check the box on one of them because you can't check all the boxes. Let's move on. It says, so the wise soul doesn't go, but knows. Doesn't look, but see. Doesn't do, but get it done.
Beautiful understanding right there.
The word right here is wise. That's that wisdom. Right there. The wise soul doesn't go. When I think about all the people that make hard to Mecca, and they go all these places, but yet and still just look the condition that we have. I mean, it's just a crying shame for us to be civilized people and have the mess we have today. We got kindergarten elementary, middle school, high trade, and last universities. All these schools, all these educated places, and look what a mess we have. Something ain't working, y'all. Bad as it. All these bombs and guns going off. Only uncivilized people do that. So, boy, he's a whip. But no, doesn't look, but he sees. There's something powerful going on. It's trying to tell you something. And the last part it says doesn't do, but get it done. Mm-hmm. How about that?
And what is this talking about? Is this very interesting? At least it was to me. Especially things like doesn't do but gets it done.
Yeah.
Y'all try that and see. Can you understand what it's talking about? Hey, because this is how we come right into the way.
So the wise soul, keyword is that, to become wise. To seek knowledge.
To seek knowledge, that's a divine commandment. Why we think that's a divine commandment? Nobody else ain't making sure that that commandment is known.
That's right.
You seek knowledge all the way from this side to the great.
Oh, yeah.
How important? That's not a concept given to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a concept given to us.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not a concept given to you, how can you become?
He got 7 grants. He like 7 grants since I was cookies. Like me, thirsty. See that? Didn't I tell you? Here's me, I can't read sure. If I had a dozen, I can read. You'd have to be good stewards of the land.
And we finished with that one.
Unlearn it, man.
Unlearn. Yep, because I remember everybody but you. And you just went. So we do instruction 48. Unlearning. The head. And this was one of our spiritual sisters' favorite words. Unlearning. Unlearning. First line says studying and learning. You grow larger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not this way now.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point right there. Not eating and sitting.
Yeah.
Sitting and eating daily, you grow larger. But this is why it's talking about a wise soul.
Yeah.
Because a wise soul doesn't get wise by doing. It becomes wise through a process. And one of the processes is studying and learning. But not often or every so often. Daily.
Daily, huh?
Say that daily bread.
Sound like every day we're supposed to be studying and learning.
It says don't live off the daily bread, but every word that comes from the divine creator. The next line says following the way daily. You shrink. Now let's put the microscope on self. One way is growing larger. One way, honey, I shrunk the kids. Yeah. If we follow in the way, should we be growing larger and larger if we follow in the way?
Yeah. When I see way, it's wrong way. You know, studying every day, daily. But now, when I'm not picking up a book, studying it every day, going over my thoughts and that I've done studying and emphasizing on that to make it better and what I need to do. But now, like how my son did, they like he don't never stop no more. They just stay in there.
That's right.
Stay in there. About his father's business.
The next line says you get smaller and smaller. Do we see where we're going with this? Or not just yet? We need to keep going. You get so small and so small that you arrive at not doing.
See, this was what happened. I can cut you off, but this is what happens when we don't study and keep learning. This is what we begin to do. Not doing that means don't study no more. You don't even care for it no more. But I guarantee you, going to that job every day, whatever you're doing that every day. But when it comes down to knowing self and learning, that's on the back burner. And I see that constantly.
So you arrive at not doing, you do nothing, and nothing is not done.
Don't that make sense? Don't that make sense?
See, all this is contrary to a Western mind.
It sure is.
No Western mind perceives this as successful.
Yeah.
What you mean?
The time you get out of school,
What you mean?
they got a job, and they'll tell you to go get you a job.
I have one lined up for you.
I have one lined up for you, that's right. Time you get out of school, you really don't have time to think and just check yourself out, really, man.
Not with this growing larger. Why I be telling y'all, like, all right, you want to study for 18 years, like, you kids ride on out. Mine coming to a closure. Hey, you want to, hey, because this is true. As the previous lesson said before, that we must not go far. The farther you go away, the lesser you know. So so all people better be mindful.
Yeah.
Because this is the time self forgets. Look at self from a child, self to an older. Self remember they created. I know a lot of olders who have forgot they creator.
Yeah.
And I know some youngins who don't even know their creator.
That's right.
So in between that, what is life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We get multiple wives. You start off with multiple girlfriends.
Yeah.
Then that leads you to multiple wives. And lead to multiple jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Lead to multiple cars.
Yeah.
Multiple bills.
Yeah.
Look at what the core is, the accumulation is growing larger.
Yeah.
And now the two that came together as one is forgetting about each other.
Yeah.
And the creator, the one that put them together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we have to understand, let your money grow larger. But let self become smaller. Don't let self grow with your finances, because this is what throws you from the way. You get further indulging into the indulgences rather than going to nothing. Now, this is the strangest thing. I know for myself because I tried it firsthand. I was in the exact opposite boat 18 years from here. I was doing the exact opposite. Moving, constantly on the go, as it say, do. And then the creator brought this into my awareness. And then for 18 years, I found myself having to go back, all the way back. All the way back, even before you become a child. This is the beautiful thing we all have to do. This is what it's saying, shrinking from the internal, the external, and becoming to know self. And once you get to know self, then you'll find out self is no thing. But then to understand no thing, doing nothing, you have to understand nobody. Now, if you want to understand nobody, just look at the children. The youngest one you can find, just watch. That's the concept of nobody. So now when we are speaking about unlearning, it's because we done grown in age. That when you came as a child, you didn't know nothing. Like literally you didn't know nothing. But as you grew older, you started knowing something. But then there's never a returning point returning back to knowing nothing. And this is why the key word in knowledge contains the K-N-O. It contains the words K-N-O, just like the words N-O contain no. See, so there's a direct correlation to no and no, the ledge. And if you don't know the ledge, off the edge. This is why knowledge is say, seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave, because it say, what it said, don't look. The wise see. It's talking about the power of our mind. Is what I had to come to find out. That your flesh does a lot of things. But once you start being still, you will find out your mind does a lot of things. And then you will see it does more than what the flesh can do.
That's right.
The flesh need.
That's right.
Give me.
Yeah.
I won't. When we come to the understanding of wanting nothing, this is how you become perfect. This is the perfect state, what we call building the temple of perfected man, aka the dome of purity of life. So when we go to the grave, guess how we going? With a clean mind.
Yes.
Think about a clean house, a fresh house.
Yes, indeed. And,
You gotta junkie it up.
yeah, that's right.
And if this junkie,
Everything else.
if the flesh don't understand that it is not the flesh, and if the self don't understand that it has no self, that itself that it thinks it is itself is the creator. The creator made self, and the self became flesh. Now that's a group.
Yeah. Since you said that, I was thinking about how all the Christians, they claim they love Jesus and they follow in the way of Jesus. But yet, there was counselors, homes, chariots, you name it. Money, gold, silver. Did Jesus, can you recall that where Jesus had all these things? He wasn't interested in none of that. He wasn't interested in none but the truth. And he wanted to get it spread all over the world. He was crucified and murdered for that. And then the people who sits in high places make laws and policies. And that was the trap that they set to crucify and they killed. And when you look at the day, you hit fast forward, you see the same method with the people in high places. Now, I heard that they finna start the draft back up. Behind closed doors, they don't put it in motion and don't sign the bill. Now they finna come and get your children. See, that was back there when I was we just become a teenager. They had the draft. And guess what? If your name came up and you was in the draft, you didn't go, they put you in jail. And now they done brought it back. See? They fighting so many wars and on so many fronts till they're running short of people. And now they're coming after our children. But if they only knew, they don't have to go because that's still illegal. Oh. I told y'all, he on the move now. He on the move now. He's just showing what you can do now. He's just showing you his power now. He on the move.
So and here's a great method for us to how the way is not only the name of Islam, but how the instructions of the way is in the Sufian. Yeah. And we're going to read a similar statement. And it says, in retreat for prayer, illumine your hearts with hunger. That's some key. The heart associated with hunger. And strive to conquer yourself using hunger and thirst. This is how you get to smaller and smaller. You see, the ultimate goal is not to get near to self, it's to get near to the creator.
Yeah.
19, the nearest. Now that's what they call a superlative in grammar. And you got higher, lower. So now when we got the nearest, remember I asked the question, at the opening. Self or the name, which is near. The nearest to Allah are the abstinent, whoever they are, wherever they are. Whoever they are, that's the self. Wherever they are, that's the flesh. See, the self and the flesh has to understand where did it come from and who did it come from.
Yeah.
To answer all questions. It says forgiveness, that type of man, that type of woman is near, who pardons when he had or when she have, and you can't do anything but abuse your use. And the sign of use is your flesh. Why you think a baby looks so pure? Because they ain't abused it.
Yeah.
Why we think we look pitiful or we look glorious as we get older? How you treat the flesh is how you treat the Creator. See, and the Creator loves abstinence more than anything. Because abstinence is the forgiveness of everything. That's deep. That's a deep mystery right here. My last line of the first paragraph says, you do nothing and nothing is not done. To run things, do not fuss with them. Nobody who fusses is fit to run things. So,
that can aggravate you, get on your nerves, all that fuss. For no reason at all.
Yeah, no reason at all. All right, yeah. We're going to move into a divine history. We're going to come into something we never heard before. So prepare your ears, because I know your ears never heard it before. This is what all of us need to understand and why. Before we begin, we're going to ask some couple questions just to get the thought gear turning. Then we're going to read a Sufian to give us some little clarity, and then we're going to go into the background of what was read. So we're going to just put this on the record so it be on the record. Put these two right beside each other. This is for all Bible and all Biblists and all Quranists. For people who believe in the Bible and for people who believe in the Quran of Mecca. Now we're going to begin with a question. where did war begin? Where did war begin? Oh, yeah.
What I heard was the war in heaven. Because it wouldn't be in the Garden of Eden. That was just some disobedience going on, and then later from that it stimulated to killing. But that wasn't the beginning. And it said there was a war in heaven. And you know what? It's always puzzled me about that saying, that war in heaven. When I look at heaven, I think it's a good place, and like paradise, where ain't no rigmarole yakety going on. It's all peaceful. But they say it was a war in heaven. Now I can think maybe a war in hell, but it didn't say a war in hell. It said heaven and heaven. If people want to die and go to heaven and not die and go to hell. So somebody has something twisted here.
You're saying it perfectly.
I mean, when you stop and think and you analyze that and you kind of, think of
That's
your
right.
thoughts and you trying to become mindful and you trying to figure out just like solving a problem.
That's right. That's right. That's what we're doing right here.
Sometimes you need to add, sometimes you need to subtract, and then sometimes you need to multiply to get your answer.
That's right. I just say yes, because I do not want anyone to travel this long road unnecessarily. And so then we must begin where you just started. Where you ended, we must begin where you just started. Why this is a concept of the war in heaven.
Yeah.
Now this is very key because this started the first war.
Yeah.
Remember, as above,
so below.
Okay, so if we want a physical war, you start a war in heaven.
Yeah.
But see, before we had the divine revelation, and that is the Sufian, things was uncounted. Now that we have the divine revelation, the answer is revealed. So it's never been hidden from humanity, but groups of men have hid it from humanity. And so we're going to begin with a Sufa that says this is the root of all evil. So this is how the war in heaven started. Was this 14 out of Sufa 44. 14. The love of the false word is the root of all evil.
Oh.
So
that's the war.
That's the war. So now when we say a war, what did they say in the ancient language? Now that we have the revealed text, do we know what heaven is? Right. We know from the keys that it's a state of mind. From the revelation, what does the revelation say? Okay, so we bring this in. It's coming off of Sufa 94 and 27. Keep in mind the open point. the war in heaven.
Yeah.
Now connect that with the false word. So now this is where all evil begins. Now we got to pinpoint the location. We're going to do that next after we do this first. Now this is what it says. As it is written in the way of Islam, which is the same as it is in heaven. There's some connecting points connect. The word war in heaven, if you retranslate that word heaven, the word heaven is what word? This has been the key. The word heaven is the word Islam. Now replace the war in heaven with the war on Islam. Now, what we have revealed is the proper name of Islam. So this is how they was going to create the whole false word. So the war in heaven is the war on Islam. So now, who is the people that don't like the way of the Creator? They still war today. Do we got any identifiers? I heard Roman Catholic Church. So key word, Roman, right? So Roman means they come out of where? Rome. Now, Rome, it don't exist in heaven. Hey, the Creator say not. Hey, Rome don't exist in heaven. Where do Rome exist on earth? Anyone? This is key. Where does Rome exist on earth? Remember the 7 eyes of Allah. See? Mind never forgets. The 7 eyes of Allah is the 7 continents. Where did Rome begin? Where is Rome located? Keep speaking.
What do you say?
Europe. They let them speak.
Europe. So we know if a child knows,
Go ahead, man.
the adult should know.
That's right.
And this is why we must return back to our origin. Now this is going to get real good. Very listen. Mason already listened. This is where all this come from. The name and your nature. Now, we just located Rome came from Europe. Europe is a continent. Now, there was a war in heaven, which was a war on Islam. So if Rome wants the war on Islam, and this is Islam is short for indigenous people. If Rome wants the war on Islam, where does Islam have to be for Rome to come and war? Europe. So it's changed the whole dichotomy. The reason why you are Islam, because Islam origin is in Europe. Now, here's the key and says, how is the ancient of Islam? Now, because we got to put this all together, that means if Islam is in Europe, that means the Quran come out of Europe. And if that means Islam was in Europe, that means the Quran came out of Europe. Jesus, Muhammad, all the prophets is of the same line. So they would be called Europeans. Let's make this clear. We're finna take it back. This is why you heard the original Europeans was something called Moors. So now Moors and Islam is one in the same word. So white people came to attack black people because of their belief in Islam. And so when they came to black people, they had a phrase that you can check in historical records. It says, convert or die.
Yeah.
So what did the Romans want black people to convert from and to convert to?
Evildoer, being an evildoer.
Christianity.
Yeah.
Now we got to put it all back together. Now here it comes. Now, what is the ancient name for Europe?
Asia.
Oh, you're getting close. Oh, you're getting close. Now check this out. This is the ancient word. You might have heard of it as Europa.
Oh no! Oh, wait, Asia and Europe.
Yes, when Europe and Asia was together, this was called Eurasia. Oh, beautiful. So the ancient word of Europe is the word Uber. Uber. Ancient word UBUR is the ancient word for Europe. So this is the defining moment right here that we understand the origin of Europe. Is why you say you're. Now we finna come. Why is this so important that the Romans want to destroy black people?
Yeah.
All right, here we come. Because the black people knew, oh people, there's no other deity but Allah. The compassionate, the beneficent, the gracious. All praise and worship be to Allah and no other. Check this out now. This is where it gets good. And no other. So now, when the prophet Noble Drew Ali came and brought Islam to the West, the first to do it, to bring it to America. This is why. That is why the Moors lost their identity. And the Moors became another identity by their conquerors.
Yeah.
Their conquerors called them Negro,
Yeah.
Black,
Yeah.
Colored,
Yeah.
African.
Yeah.
These names was given to Asiatics of America. The Asiatics, keep that in mind, who were of Moorish descent, because we as a people honor not the principles of our mothers and fathers, and strayed, went far away after the gods of Europeans.
Yeah.
After the gods of Europe. Now we should have a connection to Europe. This is what the white man would never tell the black man. And this is why a Mason is a Muslim son.
Yeah.
Now, this is why it's so important. This is why white people are playing God. What makes Europe, we're going to call it Europe so you can stay in context with the words.
Yeah.
But the ancient word for Europe is Uber.
Uber.
Now, it's going to get even clearer than Uber. Europe was the birthplace of Abraham. Europe was the birthplace of Abraham. Now check this out. The founding of the people now known as Arabs. Listen to this very carefully, because we have the language. So now, the true name of Europe is the name of the founding people. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So what was the original name of Europe? Uber. And then the next is Arabia. Arabia. Now, you said the 7 continents. Which continent don't belong to the letter A? Which continent doesn't have the letter A?
Oh, no, that's not a continent.
That's right. Good way to check yourself. Yes, America, that's an A. All the Americas, South, North, Central,
Yeah. No. That's right.
is Australia, Antarctica. Bingo. What letter does Europe begin with? E. Why does all the other continents begin with the letter A? There we go. What letter does the name of your creator start with?
Okay.
A. That's why A is at the beginning of all the continents. Remember, we are the people stewards of the earth. The earth consists of the whole, right? Not one continent. But it had to have its birth. Now, what we just read, Asiatics of America. The birthplace of Abraham. This is why it's so key. Now, Abraham lived before King Sargon, King Eruk. These names before it was named Iran and Iraq. This is what they changed. Arabia existed even before the four great rivers the Christian called the Pison, the Tigris, the Euphrates, and the Gihon. Remember that. The lands of the south of Arabia were lush, green, and full of life. See, and this is why our Creator is so important. Allah spoke to Abraham. So where did Allah speak to Abraham at? Here we go. And told him to build a great city called Europe. In our modern term, ancient Arabia. On the Morab River. With guidance from Allah, Abraham gave the people their first law. Now, this is where it gets all so beautiful. But the people rebelled against Abraham and the law of Allah by sacrificing children and animals to pagan gods. This is what has came to core. Now check this out. So Allah instructed Abraham at the site of Al-Bakar to bring knowledge to the world and to use the sap of the frankincense plant as an acceptable offering instead of the smell of burnt flesh of sacrificed children. So where all this was coming from? From the war in heaven. So the war in heaven is what gave way to what we are calling Christianity in the form of modernism. Now check this out. 20, thus Abraham is the father of all of Arabia. Abraham is the father of all Asiatics, all Arabia, all Europe, and the East. So when we read now, the divine name of the people that the Romans start calling Moors is Morabba. Morabba. And that's where you get the European pronunciation Moor. Now, the Moors are the people that the Romans and Christians today call Arabs.
Her name done changed.
Now, if you ever wonder why there's a European with your last name,
Yep.
this is a Muslim son. This all comes from the war. Remember, what we read about is before 25,000 BCE.
Yeah.
Before there was the naming of all these continents. So this is where everything come into existence. The Morabba is the first civilization. The first civilization, the most ancient people. It don't get no ancient than ancient. So the true Europeans are the Moravians, which now tells the whole story of why now there's been a consistency of war from Europeans.
Okay.
Now it should tie in.
Oh yeah.
While all your Europeans know what I just told you, because they familiar with their heritage.
Yeah. And we yeah.
So why you think when you trace back to Europe, they got words like king, queen? Why you think in America they don't have words king, queen?
Sure don't.
But you got someone presiding, or a president, an overseer.
Yeah.
Because the people sleep. They don't know Islam.
Look at it.
They got converted, which means now they lost all of their rights to steward all of the earth. And now all your rights have been given to the Europeans.
Look at that.
Because you don't know that the Europeans was Arabia.
Look at it.
And that means the first place Arabic was in Europe. Arabic comes out of Arabia, which is Europe. Now, all of the, as they say in poker, all in. All the chips are in. This is why they are saying that you are incompetent. If you don't know what. So let me make. This is why So now, after they murder all of the Moravians and then change their name and call them black, Negro, and color, they created something called Babel.
Yeah.
This is old time history. This is before there was a cat. This was before there was a church. So the first place evil, the false word was born where they started writing this false history out. It's called Babel.
Oh boy.
We know it today as Bible. And in the Bible it says the Tower of Babel.
Okay. Oh, it's coming around.
So now guess where the Tower of Babel is at, y'all? Let's ask it. Is it in Arabia? Is it in Europe? No. How about this?
I know
where it's at.
It's over here in America, because now that we got all these skyscrapers, and then another word for city is Babel. And now you notice if you go in any state, you're gonna find skyscrapers.
That's right. See, and they have an origin. And that's what I had to do, trace it all back. Did it come from here first, or did it come from somewhere else?
No,
and did people come here and put that up?
Being built that, yeah.
See,
but it came from Europe.
See, and this is what we got to recorrect, because the enemy taught majority people.
Yeah.
I had to be taught by the Europe, but I also taught myself.
Yeah.
From what was told to me by the Europeans. So as we are talking about making sense to where everything is and why it is, the Tower of Babel was actually in the Middle East. Now, if I ask y'all, Babel,
because Iraq,
which would be, it will translate into Egypt. Now, just check this out. This is why I'm reading it in a certain way, so we can see the timeline.
Yeah. Now we all go.
So the Marab people is the first civilization, and the bringer, which means Al-Mu'id or Al-Muhammad, the Muhammadans or the Muslims, this is at the time period, the bringer of knowledge and wealth to Mesopotamia, to Egypt, to Syria. So if something had to come to somewhere, that means it originally wasn't there.
That's right.
So the knowledge and wisdom wasn't originally in Egypt, which we think that all beginnings begin back in Egypt, and it wasn't even Mesopotamia, known as Sumer, where they say the first writings began. The first writings didn't begin in the Middle East. Now, if I ask this question, where's the most revered place in the world for holy people?
Jerusalem.
And Jerusalem is located.
Mecca, and that's over in there.
This is what I'm saying. Because I know at least Middle East.
Yeah.
We don't have some experience. See, the place is called Jerusalem. The place is called Mecca. This is called Middle East. Now, check this out. Out of the Middle East is where all evil come from. Check this out, man. That's why this is a divine history right here.
Goodness gracious,
Yeah. Right now, if you want to see some or go to a holy place, wouldn't you have to go, they would say, to the Middle East?
Yeah.
Now, check this out. This is what they didn't tell us. All evil burst forth from the Middle East, from of the Romans. What else came out of Babel or the Bible? A false god and a false god and a false prophet who never existed. So our people is believers. Everybody go back to Abraham. That's an Asiatic dark skin. I'm really gonna get into that. Why you got a certain hue to you. Now, remember this is older, so the Bible is not yet, as we know it, in existence. The KJV, the Vulgate, the Catholic, none of this is in existence by the time what we know of. Now, when we hear these things like the KJV or any Bible, these are false texts and false scriptures that defile and dishonor the wisdom of Allah. Now, y'all read the books. Do they defile the Creator in y'all words?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So this is what we're talking about. Why did they do it? They did it to confuse the mind and to control. This is what you're going to experience as you get older. They're going to try to control your mind.
That's right.
And see what helped you. What will help you is what helped me when I was small. When I was small, I used to tell them that how people said that for COVID-19, I was using that when I was 3. This is what now we got to go back to the sacred altar. Let truth now be concealed about the most ancient city of learning known as Al-Bakar, a city of such age and honor. It was Abraham himself who founded the great city as a symbol of his covenant with Allah. Al-Bakar being the name given to the city by Abraham on account of his first purpose and the shape of the temple. A circular temple and a place of reckoning and respect of the cycle of the heaven. I hope that connected. The constellations and the movement of the sun, the moon, and all celestial bodies. The first and most sacred temple in honor of Allah. Now tell me, where was Al-Bakar that they call now Mecca, falsely named by the Uthman, the white man, Mecca? Now tell me, where's Al-Bakar at? Just by putting it together, context. Where Al-Bakar at? If Abraham built it himself. There we go. This is all sacred land. Now, if I was to show you that Russia, Germany, they have more Muslim population than any American population.
Well, I'm declaring.
Now, let me say this. China have the largest population of Muslims, second to Russia. China is full of Muslims. But they never told us this because of our heritage. We have been fed nothing but lies and everything is a joke. And this is why they, being the demons, they, which are the demons, are playing God, pretending to be God. Holy. We come from the holy bloodline.
Yeah.
This is why you see HOLLY, and I ain't talking Hollywood. That's for holy wood, the tree of life. Our forefathers came from here and landed in all the continents before, let's just say, a oof man or white man was thought of. Yeah. So we had a whole history in Arabia, now known as Europe, that is completely covered. That is beginning. This is where Islam began. Mm. So now when we hear people coming over here, what they come over here for? With a missionary. If y'all don't know, they conquer any place by starting with the missionary, meaning a religious person. So they came to America saying that Americans didn't have a religion. When we can't even be this complexion and not have a religion. As the Bible said that I'm cutting off, out of darkness comes the light. So out of the nigger comes the white. Out of the night comes the light. So what came first? What came first? See, and this is what we have to know. Remember, the white man or oof man cursing the name of our creator, closing the door to heaven. Then have y'all ever heard, don't associate with no Muslim if you're a Christian?
I was told that.
Closing the door to heaven.
Look at that.
Telling you how to believe. This is our serious problem right here. Mm-hmm.
So that explains this. Because before Elijah came and Master Quran Muhammad, which came from that same direction that you're talking about.
Exactly.
One, everybody over here was made a Christian. How about that? All different colors. And they were crystallized you if you were there convert you.
It was convert or die. Remember, they went on a large crusade for 2,000 years, killing dark hue.
Sure did.
Anything opposite than pale, they was doing that.
That's right.
And so this is why we have to understand.
Watch it.
Now, guess what is in the Middle East that they ain't telling us? Medina.
It's somebody now we're getting somewhere.
Medina is the only place in the middle. Here it comes. Medina is the only people that held the way.
Look at that.
Thus, the people of Yathrib would rather die than dishonor Allah. The people of Yathrib refused to yield to the forces of the white man and his military. Thus, Allah bestows upon them the honor as being Medina. Medina, this is how they get their name, the new city of light. Here shall be the place of the new covenant with Allah. So, Mecca over there in the east is not. That wasn't constructed by our people. Only place over there, you know.
All together. Everything been changed.
And see, and then this is why you hear say, oh, they worship their God is a moon. This is what they say about Islam. This is why they say what they saying. Now only a pile of rocks in worship of the moon goddess of the Umayyad and the symbol of the worship of ignorance. To curse the great city of learning, Uthman has now called it Mecca.
Look at that.
And erected a square temple.
Look at that. Yeah.
To his moon goddess.
Look at that. Boy, he done tricked them. Oh, how could a Muslim be so ignorant to that? And now they make it hard.
Because of this right here. This is where I'm getting to, as because we never knew the true name of Islam. we've been thinking Islam is the true name.
Yeah.
This is why I would say, is Islam a name of our Creator? And it's not. So that's why he was able to perform his law with the Quran and with the Bible. Quran far east, Bible far west. These two hold the same agenda, stripping us of our divine rights.
But also at the beginning of their society, who was the Vatican, prayed underneath.
That's right.
And to you.
That's right. To the original, the Moravian. Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's why Russia come out just about 2 or 3 months ago and was talking about the Black Madonna, the Black woman, and Jesus, they were in the Vatican got teed off behind that, or exposing that.
And that's why, because the Sufian is on the public. And all truth must be revealed. Now we're going to understand when we read the divine origin of the Asiatic nations. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, to know their higher self and lower self. Now, the point right here, this gives the whole line right here. The key of civilization was, because they done changed it, but since you can never change the truth, still is. We just got to wake up. Is in the hands of the Asiatic nations. Now that makes sense. The Moorish, who were the ancient Moravites and the founders of the holy city of Al-Bukhara. There you go. Right there. Clean reading once we got the divine revelation to translate these words. Because that's all the words we had to work with. Moabites is Morabah.
Yeah.
Morabah, and the holy city is Al-Bukhara, built by Abraham. This was before we took it to Mesopotamia, to Egypt. Here come the Egyptians, who were the Hamathites of a direct descendant of Mizraim, the Arabians.
Oh, boy.
See what I'm saying? So now the Chinese, this is why they follow the way. We read the way. Dao Qing. That's Chinese Islam. And all these, the seed of Hagar, Japanese and Chinese, these are people. The Hindus of India. The largest population of Muslims in India is in Indonesia. This is stuff they ain't telling us. The descendants of the ancient Dukanos. The Dukans. The Canaanites are the Dukans. The Hittites, Moabites of the land of Canaan. Dukana. That's our sacred name. So all those people are Muslims. So everywhere across the world, except with a European as the pale skin, who I call now Palestine. And this is why he at Palestine or fighting in Palestine. This is where he was conceived from. We didn't put him in Europe. We put him in the Middle East, the desert, the burning sands, crossing the desert.
Yeah.
We just read it was green and lush. Green and lush. So what we talking about, this is why Egypt looks dry and deserted like it's in the Middle East. See, that is the home of where Mithraism was born from the Romans. The beginning of Rome is not Christianity. It's Mithraism. Remember, Islam, before it was contaminated by the pale skin, was the same word as Christian. All these was known as the Holy Messiah Priest Kings. Now we got to get to the true name of Islam. This is why Noble Drew Ali said these two things. We are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations. The Roman nations can have it. Vatican nations, they can have it. While we, Marabas, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers, Abraham, for our earthly and divine salvation. The covenant of the great God, Allah. And I'm glad that just came. Because this word God, since we gave them this word, did y'all know this word God, they are right. It comes out of Germany. But this is what they didn't tell us. That Germany was Arabia. So the word God is an Arabic word. This is why I got the word Ah in it. God.
Wizard of Ah. Look at that. Ah and God. Good.
They've been playing this is what they call wisdom magic. When they can use the opposite of Islam to trick us into whatever they want to be done for their reality. Now here it comes. Come all ye Asiatics of America and hear the truth about your identity and your divine right, because you are not Negroes. Learn of Abraham's ancient and divine creed. Now, this is what all we had was Islam. And this is why the Persians was able to make it Islam, create the Quran. Now, you got people worshiping a holy book as if it came from the person himself. The Quran didn't come from Muhammad. So now when we're talking about it has to come, this is why the Quran lacked this history. Why we ain't got that history?
That's right.
That's more recent than this book.
Sure is.
Why is that history not in the Quran?
That's right. And you won't even find that moral in there.
My point.
I don't read the Quran, Bible and Quran.
So this is how these are the false texts that's worshiping the false God that never existed. That's the way we do not want to die. Worshiping that which never existed. So now we got to come to this arrangement right here. At first, the Christians was one who followed the teachings of Jesus. They called Christ, to live with the same honor and virtue of the way of Islam. Islam. That the word, here it comes, that one might have used the word Sufian or Christian as one and the same. And that's our divine creed back given to us. The divine creed of Sufian. Coming out of Arabia, falsely named Europe. Oh, yep, we're gonna have to get some water up. The one way, the true way. Now you tell me, what do you hear more? Sufian or Sufian or do you hear Islam?
Islam is anything.
And Islam is not a name of our Creator. Al-Sufian is his second name. That means it's the most important. If you're going to say Allah, you have to say Al-Sufian in the same breath. This was what was brought by Prophet Muhammad, whose real name is the third Sufi. Al-Mu'i. Al-Mu'i. This is what they call falsely in the word the Mahdi. The Mahdi already came and left the perfect religion of the Creator. Now check this out. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because we see the name Sufian. Now when we go to 45 on Sufa 2, it tells us this. Every child is born with a disposition towards goodness and the natural religion. The natural religion we've been calling Islam is called Al-Sufi.
That book we got right there says that. White book.
It says Al-Islam.
That's right.
See, this is how they still corrupting us. Because it's not called that. It's Al-Sufian. And the world will be healed.
Look at that.
And so I need everyone to help spread the message. Share it, subscribe, do whatever to free everyone.
Yeah, we on the World Wide Web. We sure do.
And this is the praises from the Creator. You see, and that's how we honor God, by honoring the Al-Sufian. That's why the United States need China, need Islam. See what I'm saying?
So that's why they
can't function without it.
And they in debt to China.
They in debt to us. Once we understand who we are, they in debt to Islam. They can't even have a birth. They are called Europeans. That is Muslim sons.
Okay, well,
they don't have no rights.
Well, then, I like to ask a question. I just on the record off the record. They always talk about this $1 trillion debt. What was brought and what was purchased and what was spent? It'd be 66 or 76 $1 trillion in debt. What?
Remember the great secret is what I'm saying. What it said in the Lord's Prayer, forgive our debtors. See, this is where they playing. See, they know, so they saying that it's a debt, meaning there's a debtor. But if you know, then that's our credit. That's our credit. They owe us. And they in debt for that trillion amount. And that's the real deal. This is why they were really killed, because they got to not have that on the record, because they're gonna have to pay just like they paid the Jews, and paid every other nation, even Japan when they born. But when we get ours, it come with all 7 lands.
You ain't gotta work it.
It come with everything on the land.
That's right.
Everything in the bank stays.
Yeah.
Nothing goes. Anything on our land is called immovable property.
That's right.
And that's called realty. So just like they took our old monuments and made them into churches, we're gonna now turn them back into our divine temples. Once we are aware of who we are as a collective, they cannot supersede divine rights.
Okay. That's the debt to us, that $1 trillion debt.
That's how much they in debt.
Yeah.
Europeans, the whole European nation is in debt. And even more, that's just dollar amount. Treaties been broken. Innocent people been miseducated. This is the biggest crime to change holy text. Do y'all know this is the greatest crime? It tells you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
To change holy text, to change a letter, to add a word, a jot or a tittle, is a grave sin. This is why death is on their case. That's why the sun heating up.
Yeah.
Because the truth is heating up on earth. And we're gonna close with this final instruction.
Man.
2 minutes to go. Trust and power.
That's power.
Trust and power. Finding it in the minds of ordinary people. They are good to bad people. Is that not us? Good to bad people.
Yeah.
Power is goodness. They trust people of good faith, and they trust people of bad faith. Power is trust. Mind power. They mingle their life with the world. They mix their mind up with the world. Ordinary people look after them. Wise minds are children. Remember, all children has the natural religion, the good disposition, or the natural religion. And now the headache is gone. Because this was the hidden topic of all topics, that a Freemason, a Shriner, a Jesuit, a Vatican, a Pope, or any line of authority would not give up. This is what we need in this time. What we need in this time is the Sufian, to free all souls, to free all minds. And we're going to close with this last Sufa. As it is written in the way of the Sufian, which is the same as it is in heaven, your mind, you as mine, never die. This is why it says return back to the state of mind of your ancient forefathers in divine creed. We close in the name of our divine creator, Allah Wallah. Al Sufian Wadu.
Goodness gracious.